Instead of paying gym rent with money, a lot of personal trainers will commit to the hybrid model, which means that you trade hours for rent. In exchange, the gym will allow you to PT rent-free. However, in this video, I'm going to be breaking down whether or not that actually is free. It's not. If you're new here, my name is Alexander Lyon. I've been a personal trainer in London for 10 years, currently making around £90,000 a year, working 3 days per week. And on this channel, I help personal trainers to make more money and build better relationships with their clients. So if that sounds good to you, let's get into it. First things first, what even is the hybrid model? Let me explain it properly. Many PTs, when they're starting out, they don't have any savings. They don't have any money, they don't have any clients. So gyms will offer the opportunity for you to go and PT in their space, but what you have to commit to instead of giving them money as rent is hours. So that's typically 10 to 15 hours per week where you work for the gym for free, and in exchange, you can then use the rest of the time in the week to PT as much as you want. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break down what they get, what the gym gets as part of the deal, and at the end, I'm gonna break down what you get as part of the deal. So I'm gonna base this on the model I had with Pure Gym nearly 10 years ago now, which was that I would trade 15 hours per week for my rent. First thing to understand, if the minimum wage is just over £12 an hour now, and you do 15 hours per week for a month, how much rent have you actually paid had you been getting paid minimum wage? The number comes out at just under £800, so £793. For context, I know the London market, and that's higher than almost all gyms in London. The gym can hire as many trainers as it wants to do this hybrid model because it costs them nothing. They're not paying salary, they're not paying employee benefits, they're not paying for your sick leave, for your holiday leave, they're not paying you anything. It's completely free for them. So they can hire as many as they want. Ideally, they have 100 trainers. Now, when I was at Pure Gym, we had 15 PTs on the hybrid model. And if you take 15 PTs and you realize how much you would have had to pay for the work they did over the course of a month, that would have been purely on salary, no national insurance, no pension, just pure salary is more than £12,000. So not only does it not cost them anything, it actually saves them because they don't have to hire cleaners. They have to hire way less staff for the gym. It's an amazing model for them. As part of this agreement, the trainer is often asked to deliver classes to the members. Now, on the open market in London, you typically would expect to make £20 to £30 per class. But of course, as part of this arrangement, you don't get paid. So again, remember, if you're doing 2 to 3 of those per week, every month, how much money does that come out to? I'll let you figure that one out. The next thing they get is typically they'll get the trainers to do all gym inductions. Now, I will preface this by saying this is actually a really good opportunity for PTs in order to sell their service. Show them around the gym, have a conversation, build a little bit of rapport, and then book in a trial session. So that is actually really good, and it's a good thing, especially if you're at the beginning. However, if you've already got a client base, well, first thing I'd ask is why you're selling hybrid. But number two, you don't have time to be doing that. And you've got this responsibility to be doing these inductions that you don't get paid for. So again, it's a very skewed arrangement. It should be something that the trainer offers the gym. It should be something that the trainer says, I'm happy to help out. I can help you, it helps me, everything works. And as a self-employed professional, you should have that right. No one should be dictating anything to you if you're self-employed. Otherwise, what is the fucking point? You may as well go get a boss. Now, the question to ask is, why does this all happen? Why does this arrangement work so well? Why is it so prevalent? Why is it so common? I'll tell you why. Because it increases the profits of the gym massively. But something you need to remember is there is essentially no incentive for the gym to help you build your business. What incentive do they have? It's not like you're paying them money. You're just turning up and knocking around a little bit, speaking to a few people. They don't have to pay you. Typically PTs have great lively personalities, so it brings up the energy in the gym, but you ain't getting shit for it. Most of the time, you don't even get sales training. You don't get anything. So please remember, not just in this, but in general human interaction, if no one has any incentive to do something, why the fuck would they do it? Now, in terms of what you don't get salary, you don't get employee benefits, you don't get a pension, you don't get holiday pay, you don't get sick pay, you don't get health insurance, you don't get anything an employee gets. except for you get dictated to and you get told when you can work and where you should be. So you're getting none of the benefits of being self-employed and none of the benefits of being employed. Like, it's an awful deal. It's an awful deal. The gym will sell this to you as, well, listen, you can use those 15 hours to go and prospect in the gym. You can go and speak to people, get your clients. But remember what I said. For them, it's in their best interest to hire as many of these people on this model as they can, because it's a very grey legal agreement, quite frankly. It's a bit on the grey side. So they want as many as they can. So yeah, great, you can go and prospect on the gym floor for 15 hours, along with the other 15 trainers that are there, right? And in a gym, you know, a middle-sized gym in London, you can have maybe 90 people in the gym at any one time. You know, you got 15 people knocking around. This, you know, so you know, the member to PT ratio is terrible in this kind of situation. And as a result, that then starts to breed a culture of PTs undercutting each other. So charge £40. Oh, well, I'll charge 30. Oh, well, I'll charge 25. Oh, well, I'll charge 20. And then it just becomes this whole thing where nobody wins except the gym. There's no guarantee of clients. There's no guarantee of any income. There's no guarantee of any training. And there's no guarantee of any benefits. So unless you're cornered into the situation where you just are, like I was at the very beginning, you don't know anything about the industry and you just need to get a feel for it. You just need to get started. It doesn't really matter at the time. You just need to get going. I understand. Otherwise, you shouldn't be engaging in this model. It's a waste of time. And quite frankly, given the numbers I've just given you in terms of how much you should be paid for those kind of hours, you're probably better off just going and getting a job, because it's so difficult to actually build client bases in that gym. You have to remember, if the PTs were doing super well because the members were all there's a high demand for PT, and the PTs were all doing really well, they wouldn't be on hybrid. They would be on full rent. Of course they would, because the full rent, as I just said, is cheaper than the hours. In that pure gym, the full rent was about £450 a month. Meanwhile, you're giving nearly £800 a month worth of hours, and that's just on minimum wage. You're a skilled worker. You should be more than minimum wage. So the whole agreement is absolute bullshit. And you need to be aware of it and be very careful about how long you stay in that kind of environment, because it's not going to be good for the long-term success of your career. I'll let you make your own conclusions on this. And of course, I absolutely acknowledge that from gym to gym, things can be different. And at times this model can work, right? But I would argue strongly that the majority of the time it's an absolute rip-off for the PTs, and it's an absolute goldmine for the gym and the corporation. So just be very careful about how you engage with gyms and under what agreements, and make sure that you always have promises that are made in interviews and negotiation processes in writing, because if it ain't in writing, it may as well not exist, okay? So just be careful about that. But I hope you found value in this video. I hope it's taught you something. I hope it's just opened your eyes to how PTs get taken advantage of, because they do a lot, especially in London. But I would love to hear more stories from outside of London and what, you know, other people have experienced as well. And let's kind of build the Avengers of PTs, hopefully. As I say, if you found this video valuable, then if you could drop me a subscribe and hit that little bell, it would really help me to grow and help more trainers to get this content and hopefully help them as well. So we're all in this together, and I wish you a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.